There has been a lot of talk about the potential fight between you and Ilia Topuria. How do you look at that situation?
Yeah, I like this idea. If UFC want, I know a lot of MMA fans want this fight. I'm ready.
What about fight in White House in Washington? Do you thinking about that?
Yeah, also it's one of the arena where I'm gonna fight next, and we have the Ramadan month where I'm not gonna training 1 month, and after that I will slowly beginning my training camp, and I will be ready White House or as other dates. I will be ready.
The proposed White House UFC card doesn't even have an official main event yet, and it's already on fire. Islam Makhachev poured gasoline on the speculation by directly calling out Ilia Topuria. No buildup, no hesitation, no political answers. Just a direct challenge from the reigning lightweight king to one of the sport's fastest rising stars. The moment those words were spoken, the entire lightweight division felt the ripple effect. Fans immediately began debating whether this would be a technical masterclass or a violent changing of the guard. Analysts started breaking down styles before contracts were even discussed. It's rare that a single call-out can shift the narrative of an entire event, but this one did exactly that. Suddenly, the White House card wasn't just interesting, it became potentially historic.
I think when Ilia comes back, for him to go to 170, is the risk to reward worth it? I think so. He'd be the first 3-time UFC champion ever. So he'll be not in Mount Rushmore. He'll be in face. Will be in Mount Rushmore. No one's ever won 3 belts. No one's ever done it. And as it stands, even right now, it's a very uphill battle for Ilia to go up to 170 and beat Makhachev. So if he does, you can't argue that he's not the Michael Jordan of it, that he's not above everybody. John Jones, GSP. Like you got to just put him in his own category of greatness, and nobody can say nothing about him. You just got to sit there and be like, yep, he did it, and that's...
Makhachev made it clear, if the UFC wants it and the fans demand it, he's ready. Timing around Ramadan matters, but beyond that, there are no excuses. Islam isn't ducking anyone. If Topuria is the next man in line, he'll sign. That kind of confidence only comes from a champion who believes he has already solved the division. He understands the risks involved, especially against a surging knockout artist. But champions at his level don't build legacies by avoiding danger. They build them by confronting it head on, and by publicly stating his willingness, Islam positioned himself as the steady force willing to test the hype.
There has been a lot of talk about the potential fight between you and Ilia Topuria. How do you look at that situation?
Yeah, I like this idea. If UFC want, I know a lot of MMA fans want this fight. I'm ready.
What about fight in White House in Washington? Do you thinking about that?
Yeah, also it's one of the arena where I'm gonna fight next, and we have the Ramadan month where I'm not gonna training 1 month, and after that I will slowly beginning my training camp, and I will be ready White House or as other dates. I will be ready.
And this isn't just another title defense. This is legacy territory. Fights like this are remembered years later when people debate who truly ruled an era. It's the type of matchup that can redefine pound-for-pound conversations overnight. One clean performance could cement dominance. One shocking upset could flip the entire landscape. These are the moments that separate great champions from historically significant ones. When two fighters with momentum collide, the stakes extend far beyond the belt.
How would you beat Islam Makhachev?
Me personally, I would ask him like, what's your favorite submission? Whatever, dark show, I'm gonna submit you with that.
So if you ask him what his favorite submission is, you would do that to him?
Yeah.
This is a guy that's trained and coached by Khabib.
I take him close to Khabib. I will submit him closer to Khabib.
You'll submit him in front of Khabib?
Yeah. Khabib used to take people, take them down, and talk to Dana. I will take him,
and then talk to Khabib.
Talk to Khabib.
Topuria represents a new generation. Undefeated confidence, knockout power, relentless pressure. He believes he's destined to take over the sport. His rise hasn't been quiet or cautious. this. It's been loud and emphatic. Every performance has added fuel to the idea that he may be the next long-term star, but standing across from him would be the most suffocating grappler in the lightweight division. A champion sharpened under the guidance of Khabib Nurmagomedov and built on discipline, control, and championship composure. Islam doesn't rely on chaos, he relies on calculated domination. That contrast in styles is what makes this matchup so fascinating.
Can Ilia be the GOAT operating in the same time, the same era as Islam, if those two never meet? As impressive as what Ilia has done, wouldn't you have to say Islam's done the same thing? And wouldn't you be forced to say that? Ilia's had one match at 155 pounds, and he won the world title. Islam's had one match at welterweight, and he won the title. So, if Islam keeps going, he's a two-division champion. How does Ilia surpass him? And there's a way, right? First off, Islam has
Chael Sonnen has already framed it as a legacy fight. In his view, this isn't about rankings, it's about historical positioning. If Islam keeps dominating the division, we're no longer debating contenders. We're talking about ownership of an era. But if Topuria dethrones him, that's a generational shift. It would signal that the new wave has officially arrived. Sonnen pointed out that moments like these define careers more than any single statistic ever could. The winner wouldn't just gain a belt defense or a title, they would gain narrative control.
loss. What do you want to do? Everybody, right? It's one of those things. What do you want to do with that? You want to hold that against him? You want to act like that doesn't speak to his greatness as opposed to him getting caught in one moment? And what do you want to do? But eventually you're going to be forced to say, well, he's got a loss and he doesn't. You also do have the timeline that Ilia came to that weight class calling out Islam. Islam publicly said no to that fight and went to
Alexander Volkanovski knows firsthand how dangerous Islam is. In their first fight, he experienced the timing, the pressure, the suffocating control. He felt how small mistakes are magnified at championship level. Yet even Volk admits Topuria's southpaw stance and explosive speed could present unique problems. The angles are different, the entries are different, and against someone who pressures the way Ilia does, early moments matter. Volkanovski understands that stylistic puzzles can create openings even against dominant champions. That's what makes this hypothetical fight so compelling.
Who do you got winning? Islam or Ilia?
Man, I don't know. I think Islam.
For real?
Yeah. Ilia's good. I just reckon the size would be a lot.
He got bigger. He said he started taking creatine or some shit.
Yeah, he was big. But then again, Ilia he's a heavy puncher, eh? If he can keep it on the feet and land punches, be a good fight. It needs to happen. I think a lot of people want to see that.
Demetrius Johnson broke it down technically. Topuria fights with belief, and belief translates into commitment. When he throws with full intention to end the fight. He doesn't second guess exchanges, and that makes him dangerous in transitions. But Johnson also highlighted the danger. Islam doesn't panic. His precision, positional awareness, and patience can slowly dismantle even the most aggressive opponents. Over 5 rounds, composure often outweighs explosiveness, and that's where experience could become the deciding factor.
Even though you didn't win that first fight in Perth, what did you gain from fighting Islam? It was very high level, and no one's really pushed him to that level since.
Well, we know how good Islam is till this day. And look what he's doing. And everyone knew that back then. It's just he hasn't faced the guys yet to even get that type of resume. Even though his resume was still good, it wasn't the resume what he's got now, but everyone knew he was that good. And me moving up against a guy that's got that style, everyone thought there's no way. So for me to go out there and do what I did, and a lot of people thinking I won, and just having that type of fight, me still being pound for pound #1, was still crazy. Like for us, and we broke records here in Australia when you talk numbers and gates and pay-per-views here in Australia, everything like that. So it was a massive fight. It lived up to the hype, the storyline, everything around it was just incredible. And a very, very big part. Even though I lost, I still think it's probably the biggest moment of one of the biggest moments of my career till Sydney. this weekend.
Yeah, and so that was the last time you fought here in
That
Australia.
was the last time I fought in Australia, yeah. And that was me not defending. This time I'm defending a bit.
Jorge Masvidal added another layer. What happens if this conversation shifts to 170 pounds? Size changes things, strength changes things, wrestling depth becomes even more critical. Moving divisions isn't just about carrying power upward, it's about adjusting to new physical realities. Masvidal emphasized that grappling exchanges at welterweight feel different from lightweight exchanges. Beating Islam isn't about surviving a round or landing one clean shot. It's about solving an entire system built on pressure, control, and calculated advancement. That challenge becomes even more complex the higher you go in weight.
Change. And another thing that I want to touch, because you bring up Islam being a southpaw. So with Ilia's style, again, with a southpaw, a lot of your shot selections and everything changes with a completely different stance. So I think that's going to give him a lot different problems. He's got time to work on those things, obviously.
Yep.
But I just don't think he's, I talked about being stoic and being on task and having that flow or that process to finding the shot. I think I will say this, I feel like he's a lot more effective on orthodox than southpaws. I'll say that.
Yeah,
I'll say that now.
You're saying Ilia Topuria is more effective against orthodox than southpaws? Or you saying...
Yes, even from little...
Yeah, okay.
Colby Covington sees it as the ultimate pound-for-pound test. He believes styles make fights, and this style clash would answer lingering questions. No politics, no waiting, just champion versus surging finisher, old guard versus new blood. Covington argues that if Topuria truly wants to be considered elite across divisions, this is the proving ground, and if Islam wants to silence every doubter, this is the opponent to do it against. It's the type of fight that clears debates instead of extending them. Sometimes the simplest matchups are the most definitive.
Yep, I agree. I feel Ilia Topuria fights better when he fights orthodox, because that's what you get used to seeing when he fights somebody who's southpaw, because that's one of the things that Islam did to you. He threw that body kick because you're shorter, right? Like, even when I fight guys who are taller and they go southpaw and they throw that body kick, I'm like, fuck, I can't get to him. If they throw the body kick correctly, right? If they throw it like, a whip, you're gonna be able to get to him. But if I throw like a Muay Thai, like a boom, and drive my knee across your forearms, it's like, there's no opportunity for you to counter. It's a lot harder to deal with, and that's what I think Islam's going to try to do. But then, like you said, Ilia Topuria is going to be like, okay, I'm going to have to eat that right hand immediately, or eat it, try to wrestle, eat it, or try to get closer to him. So it's an interesting matchup, and I can't wait to see how those two approach the dynamic of that fight.
If this fight headlines the White House card, it won't just be another event. It would carry symbolism beyond rankings and belts. A stage like that amplifies everything: pressure, expectation, consequence. The media attention alone would elevate the stakes. Every round would feel heavier. Every exchange would echo louder. It could decide who defines this era of the UFC.
I think Ilia's always been the fucking bull. Even when he fought you, when he fought Max, when he fought Bryce Mitchell, he's always coming. And that's why I think it's so hard to fight. Because even when I don't fight anymore, but I'm like, okay, where do you beat a guy like Ilia? Where do you beat a guy like Volk? Where do you beat all these guys? And I feel with Ilia, if you try to run from him, you're fucking yourself. Because if he finds you, then it's like, fuck, now I gotta try to, it's like fighting Rodtang. If you ain't got a chin and you can't, good luck trying to beat Rodtang in a striking battle, right? Because he just has chin and he has the power. So I feel like Ilia, he's got it, his chin hasn't been tested. I feel like it's been tested, but he's willing to give a shot he takes a shot to give his own shot. And I feel like those are always the hardest.
Islam Makhachev, the calculated dominator, a champion built on control, discipline, and relentless pressure. He doesn't chase chaos, he engineers victory. His grappling isn't just effective, it's strategic and suffocating. Over time, opponents don't just lose rounds against him, they lose confidence. That mental erosion is part of his greatness. Facing him requires not just skill, but unwavering composure.
I think when Ilia comes back, for him to go to 170, is the risk to reward worth it? I think so. He'd be the first 3-time UFC champion ever. So he'll be not in Mount Rushmore. He'll be in will be in Mount Rushmore. No one's ever won 3 belts No one's ever done it, and as it stands, even right now, it's a very uphill battle for Ilia to go up to 170 and beat Makhachev. So if he does, you can't argue that he's not the Michael Jordan of it, that he's not above everybody. John Jones, GSP. Like you got to just put him in his own category of greatness, and nobody can say nothing about him. You just got to sit there and be like, yep, he did it, and that's...
Ilia Topuria, the fearless disruptor, a fighter who thrives in forward motion and high-impact exchanges. He carries knockout power in tight spaces and open ones alike. His confidence borders on inevitability, as if he expects every fight to bend in his direction. He doesn't wait for opportunities. He forces them. Against most opponents, that pressure becomes overwhelming. Against a champion like Islam, it becomes a high-stakes gamble.
Dude, who is this mythological figure? Now you're talking about he's gonna go to 170 and beat the #1 pound-for-pound guy in the whole sport that's been holding it down for like 4 or 5 years that I can think of. This guy's just crushing everybody. The biggest names that he gets crushes and just takes him into a black hole and submits him, you know. So Ilia gets that done. You put that dude in his own plate. You didn't even talk about him. Just like you didn't even talk about Ilia, because that's something that still every head in the sport will turn. Every fighter, no matter how much they dislike Ilia or whatnot, could only say one thing: that yep, Ilia's the damn truth. Because he's the complete opposite fighter to beat a guy like Ilia's Makhachev. That's the type of guy you need to beat Ilia. Somebody could just keep it on the map, because if you stand
If they collide, someone's narrative changes forever. Either Islam tightens his grip on the lightweight throne and strengthens his pound-for-pound claim, or Topuria announces himself as the new ruler of the division. There is no quiet outcome in a fight like this. It would echo through future matchmaking decisions and title conversations. Fans would remember exactly where they were when it happened, and long after the cage door closes, the debate over this era would start with this fight.